What's up, YouTube? En route to the gym. Today we've got pool. I feel like we're always training in pool, but it's not going to be about the pool session. So the main purpose of this video is to talk about posing. Now, I wouldn't say I'm like a posing coach, but I would like to think I've learned a lot about posing. Obviously, with the years that I've been competing, especially last season, I learned a lot kind of about really presenting your physique to its best and how you need to do it. And, you know, looking at kind of specifically bodybuilding posing, maybe we can talk about like if you're doing classic as well. I think it's something that a lot of people would benefit from. You know, obviously, with my clients, I notice like all of them can benefit from posing advice. It takes a long time to actually nail posing, and I would say, you know, I haven't even nailed posing perfectly. You should always practice it, but it takes a long time to actually get even into like a pretty decent spot where you do it right. And a lot of the times that I've learned about how to improve my posing, it's been after looking at stage shots going, shit, like, I'm doing that wrong, I need to do this better. Kind of looking at yourself next to other people and seeing how you're doing something that makes you look worse next to that person and stuff like that. But for the most part, there are like general things you need to be doing when you pose, and that's what this video is going to be about. It's going to be giving you that feedback on the specific kind of areas we want to look at when we do posing, so you can present your physique as well as possible. So yeah, before that, we're going to film some bits from pool. Aaron will do a little bit of an edit and stuff like that for it, and we'll talk about a few things. But after that, we'll get into the main part of the video, which is posing, which I don't think I've actually spoke about in a very long time. I believe I did a video on this like when I started YouTube almost, so it's been a while, so it'll be good to talk about. And I'm not too out of shape yet, so I can do it. If this was further into my off season, I probably wouldn't be up for just getting my kit off and talking about posing. But yeah, so excited to train pool. We've got deficit deadlifts, we'll see how those go. I've been battling it out to get 200 for 12 reps on it. Whether or not we'll go for that on do something different, we'll see. But yeah, it's going to be a good session. Yesterday's push session was absolutely amazing, so hopefully this follows suit. And yeah, I'll catch you in the gym. Let's do it. thought I'd just quickly comment on what you're seeing me doing. So this is completely across the body pull downs. So when you want to set up like this, ideally you want to have your hips kind of open out to the side you're working, so it forces your rib cage to be closer to your arm. Face that way, go across like this. So this leg will actually be forward. So it's kind of like the other way around. So if you were doing it like this, where often you see people that go like that, you're actually going all the way around. It gets such a bigger stretch, so I really like it. And it still aligns with the short because I can pull down to here. So best of both worlds. But you will find like maybe stability will be a little bit harder because I'm setting up like this. But when you're heavy and you're bulking, it's not a problem. You just might have to be a bit more cautious when you're dieting. If you're getting a lot lighter and you've only got like this amount of contact, then yeah, preferably maybe just go for the normal, more stable setup. Right, we're at the main part of the video now. Hopefully you enjoyed that edit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do like a whole round of posing, but whilst I get into each pose, and I hit each pose, I'm going to tell you the things that you should look for in terms of mistakes you might make when you hit these poses, and the things you want to be doing ultimately, and how, I guess, certain physiques could differ in what you want to hit in terms of the pose, because not everyone's the same. It's really important to understand that pose is different for each person. There's different variations that suit different physiques. There's different ways of hitting things to prioritise other muscle groups over other muscle groups, and sometimes that can kind of be affected by who you stand next to, what type of physique you stood next to. So sometimes you never know what the best option is until you're on stage, which is a hard one. But ultimately, I think the key thing is just finding the best poses for your physique. You know, if you're wondering like, what do I hit? Just find the best variation that looks good on you, and don't be closed-minded. Keep practicing and trying different things, because it takes time to truly understand the best poses for you. You know. So yeah, I'll do a whole round, close back. Right, so we're going to do, we're going to do the symmetry round. So this is like all the relaxed poses. That piston. It's not. I have to always check. Imagine it afterwards and it's all news for you. Definitely cut that. So we're going to start with the front relaxed, and what you need to think about when you're figuring out the stance of your feet and how you rotate and all that much, is kind of what I like to think is, the bigger your legs are, the bigger your adductors are, the wider you can go. So if I go really wide, say I'm like this now, I've got a gap in between my thighs, that does not look good. We never want gaps in certain areas of the physique where there shouldn't really be gaps. So if you've got a gap when you're like this, go a little bit narrower and externally rotate at the hip so your adductors meet more. Because if I'm like this, there's a gap. If I go this way, there's not. So you need to point your toes out of it. Now you need to push your hips back. So what you want to do is be like this. Do you see what happens? Hips back, quads turn on. Externally rotate, push your heels through, and imagine your feet going out like this, and then scrunch your toes really hard. So look, there we go, quads are on. So if I'm posing like that, there's nothing. If I go hips back hard, everything's on. What it also does is it makes your waist small. So if I'm here, not that good. If I'm there, waist is smaller. And then just hit the front relax. So just literally, you're just spreading your lats. Well, imagine your arms sit planted on your lats. You don't need to go as high. People make the mistake of doing that. Just keep your arms quite low and just get the width. So if I go too much like this, I now lose delt fullness, the roundness of the delt. So if I'm here, you can see that roundness. If I'm up here, you can't. So just find that balance between lats and delt fullness. So I quite like it for me with my hands down, fists down, like this. And you've got to practice this pose a lot because it's the one you're going to be hitting the most. And if you can't hold it like that, you're going to be shaking and stuff. So, and just transition like that. And quarter turn. And this you've got to think about displaying as much side leg thickness whilst showing also the width up top. And to do that, you're going to be rotating a lot from each end, which feels really awkward. So if I'm here and I'm hitting the side relax like this, I'm showing loads of leg width like that, it's hard to get this round right because my leg is actually almost crossing over. My knee's going over my far leg to show more glute, show more hamstring. So you've got to overcompensate and really get over here. So you pull yourself round like that. And then tense your glute and hold everything in. Don't tense your hamstring, just tense your glute. So front leg is in front of the back leg. I push the back leg into my hamstring like this to create that pop. And rotate, really relax. You're either gonna do an anterior pelvic tilt like this, or a posterior pelvic tilt where you go like this. This will get all the glute detail on your glutes. This will show more adductor. Again, this is like my point about find what works for your physique. If you want more glute detail, you do the posterior pelvic tilt. If you want more adductor and leg width, and also more lat, because when you tense too hard, you lose your lat. You need to do the anterior pelvic tilt. I think, personally, you can hit the posterior, show the detail, then go back, show the leg width and the lat width and just hit it. Toes are pointed out, externally rotated to show what adducts are. You can see the difference between going like that, versus there, hits back. Arms down by my waist, not too up like this. I'm just spreading my scap apart, not too far forward, not too far back, I'm retracted. Find that balance where you show width, but also not narrowing yourself off by going too far and losing that depth to your back. Then other sides, just hit like that. Let's cover that. It's front double, it's pretty simple. Front relaxed cues, but just a front double really. So just make sure your elbows are aligned in your fists. Hits back. There you go, pretty simple. The other variations you can do like a twist if it's in classic. So you can go like that. Or some people like to kind of put a knee out like that. Whatever looks best for your physique, you can try different variations. The front lat spread, you want to press your fist into the back of your, almost like to your hips and your lower back here, and then push your waist in, like that. And you need to be keeping your fist down. I see a mistake a lot of people do. They go like this. You lose all doubtfulness. So fist down, hips back. Stay in that position. Don't pull too far forward. Right, side chest. Now this is one I want to talk about a lot because I see a lot of people mess this up. Again, the same points as the side relax in terms of this knee crosses over the far leg to create as much hamstring width. Look at me here. Look at me there. You see a lot more hamstring width. When you come into this, you need to have this hand higher up. If I go here, it pulls my far arm back. If I'm here, it shifts it over. So here, to get this far delt displayed. People always think a side chest is like all about my arm. It's not, it's about your chest. It's also about your top line width. If we can take up more space, we look bigger. And the only way we can do that is by rotating. So if I'm here, look at the width across my top line. Now again, this is hard, it's a balancing act between rotating here and here. But I want to be there basically. I want to be hitting here, not here. Now I look narrower. So in, there. And I like to inhale, not exhale. If I exhale and tense, this comes down. So try for more size. If you're pilled, they're not going to care that you don't have a oblique detail. They're going to care way more about your side leg detail. So just aim for more size for your top half. The side tricep, you've got two variations for this. Front leg forward, and then rotate. Or, like this again. And what you need to think about when you hit this underside chest, get on the glute, but not the hamstring. If I get the hamstring, I lose that size. If you get on the glute, that just shows. And then you just need to rotate around. When you hit the side try, again, don't pull that back arm too far back. Get it out a bit so you're displaying more delt on the far side. So if I'm here, I get more width through there. So now onto the back double. When you hit this again, you've got to think about whether you're doing anterior or posterior pelvic tilt. I'll show you both versions. Firstly, you think bring your back foot back. I see a lot of people hit back double like this. It's completely wrong. You have to spike the calf. Bend the front leg a little bit. Sit into it like that. This is a posterior pelvic tilt. This is the anterior pelvic tilt. So one is showing more glute detail, the other is favouring a bit more leg width and back size. Cater it to your physique. Similarly, the lat spread you can choose which you do. I prefer an anterior on this. I like to do a posterior on the back double, show more detail. Lat spread, aim for more lat size because it's a lat spread, you know. When you do this, hands in here, and then just push out. If you wrap too far round and then your hands come round, you're narrowing yourself off because you're going too far and you're losing that depth to your back as well. So I set my legs up first, in, hands, out, that's it. The abs and thighs is pretty simple. Similar points to the front relax with the legs, but you can do like I like to do a scatter stance with this because it's a bit more aesthetic. So I go here, I pull myself up. The key thing you need to think about, this hand is here, this is like this. Look at that, versus if I'm here. I lose the pop through here, unless I'm here. So you've got to get in tight. The most muscular, same points to the front relax in terms of the legs. I like to think this needs to always be front arm for symmetry. And then you're just going to think about pushing your hands together there. If I roll too far forward, narrows myself off, a bit more delt fullness, but I narrow myself off. If I'm too far back and retracted, I don't get any delt fullness. So you have to find that balance. You need to kind of rotate forward a little bit. You need to rotate forward a little bit. You can do a hands and hip version. You can do a hands and hip and one off. You could do like this. What this does, a lot more arm versus that, you lose that width. Another version is this. Now this is way more width and less arm. And then you've got the crab, which suits some people's physiques, not all. I'm lucky because I can do this wing scapular thing. So you see, like, it pushes my traps up, so it looks pretty good. And like that. One thing I'll say when you hit the crab, please do not lean forward too much. If you're like this and doing all this shit, you're just going to look unaesthetic. Your legs are literally out of the shot. Why would you hit something which doesn't show your legs as well? It's all about, it's not men's physique. People get so like, oh, I want to show off my traps, but you just ruined your physique. So stay on your legs, don't cover this, don't get like all this stuff, just be in there. But yeah, hopefully that was useful. I'm not a posing coach, but I feel like I've got a decent amount of experience to talk about it, so I thought, why not just make a video and talk about some of the things I've learned from it. So maybe I'll start offering posing coaching, but for now I think I'm just focusing on online coaching stuff, but it's definitely something I'm into. But ultimately what I'm just trying to show you guys is there's a lot of thought that goes into it. Everything I just spoke about is technique. So that's one thing. The other thing is fitness. If you go on stage and you're sweating and shaking, you can't hold your poses for more than 10 seconds, you're going to struggle, and judges are not going to like to see that. It shows you haven't done your homework, you haven't practiced, and it shows that you don't really care enough. So perfect the technique before prep starts, and then just hit all the poses perfectly through prep, doing holds and rounds and rounds. I would suggest doing like 3 rounds into each round really quick. Make posing as hard as you can outside of stepping on stage before, so when you step on stage, it's a lot easier, and then you don't have to even bother, you're not even struggling. So yeah, hopefully that was useful. So it's heading back now from the gym, but really happy with the session. Everything's progressed and in a really good spot right now actually. Last few sessions have been very positive. I guess it's just that combination of low fatigue and higher food, body weight being up a little bit more, being in a good position now to actually progress in the gym more, which is brilliant. So very happy with that. I think also kind of something I'm really focusing on, and something I've already talked to you guys before about, is just the management of fatigue within the session and not going for reps that can just ruin me. So you notice on the deficit, I took a very clean 8, like the 8th was kind of, maybe in some eyes it might be 1 RIR, but, and I'm not saying that you should do reps in reserve training, because I actually think it's a very confusing thing to implement with most people. However, like that experience I've got now of training, I can put it in place in certain things, just like a few exercises where there is a benefit just to going, okay, the set's done, let's not just go for a rep that's just gonna build up too much fatigue within the session, but also build up too much fatigue in terms of across the next week into all the sessions, and just push in a D-volume a bit close to me when I could have maybe gone for a little bit longer if I was smart. So it's a pretty good setup, that session though. Lots of nice movements. I'm really enjoying that crossbody pull down, I found the perfect setup for that now, and it's just a case of doing more of it. It felt so good, I was almost tempted to put in an extra set, but I remembered right now my focus for my back is more mid-back, so I don't really want to be pushing more work through my lats, because, you know, whilst it's lats and not mid-back, you know, like technically you might think, okay, well, more lower lats isn't going to take away from your mid-back work. You've got to look at it like you're essentially pulling away from your recovery bucket. You're taking more, you're using more glycogen, you know. It doesn't matter if it's in a different area, like you're still, you know, using more energy on other things. It's really important people consider that with recovery. It's like when you plan your volume, it's very easy to consider recovery about your recovery between the same muscle group, session to session. But you actually also need to think about overall global fatigue that you're creating through just doing more work through a muscle group. You know, doing more presses is going to hold back your leg training. Doing more leg training is going to hold back from your presses, essentially. You have to find that perfect balance across your whole split to understand what you can get the most out for your physique's needs. And that's where you have to be a bit more selective with muscle groups. So yeah, avoid just thinking, okay, oh, I don't feel sore, that's fine, I can just do more on this muscle group, because sometimes it goes a lot further than that, and you actually need to think about how I can achieve the perfect balance between a high amount of volume, but that also allows me to get extremely strong. And the extremely strong side is the most important thing. Pushing performance is literal numerical data that shows you're putting on muscle. But yeah, enough of me rambling. Yeah, very good session. Really happy with the progressions, and yeah, just gonna keep chasing it all the way up to September when we diet. Now it's just more of the same, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Just keep doing it. I'm someone that, you know, just likes to do the same movements, get strong at them. A lot of people think, you know, you can do different things, you can switch it up. When you're natural, you need to nail everything. And I can tell you right now, the way to nail something is repeating the same movements that allows you to drive a maximal stimulus within the muscle. So avoid switching things up too much. So rinse and repeat, same stuff over and over again. But yeah, anyway, that's pretty much it for the video. I think I've spoken enough rambling about stuff, but yeah, cheers for watching, guys. I appreciate all the support. Like and subscribe, and yeah, just let me know what kind. What's that? I'm running out of petrol. Let me know what kind of content you want to see, and we'll keep it coming. All the best, and I'll catch you in the next video. See you soon.